AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun. You don't really love America if you hate half the people in it. And also if you hate a lot of the things that everybody always loved about it. There's an oft-repeated moment in political debates where the moderator says to the two candidates, say something nice about your...
Ever since AOC was crowned the Democrats' next big hope for 2028, Bill Maher's been sounding the alarm louder than ever. He did the same back in 2024, warning the DNC when they went all in on Kamala Harris, and we all saw how that turned out. Now, Maher's back in the ring, torch in hand, exposing the flaws in their latest frontrunner. He's practically begging the left not to fumble another chance. So if you're here for raw, no-holds-barred political drama, smash that subscribe button. This fire's just getting started.
What do you think of the fact that the people who are getting the big crowds right now are AOC and Bernie Sanders? They're going around the country. Thank you, there's that same guy. I call him the always wrong guy. Okay, but I feel like, big crowds, again, the shiny object that the Democrats chase. It's not about the big crowds that come out to you when you're talking in a festival or wherever they are. I think it's because I think Bernie showed up at Coachella. That must have been fun for the fans. It's who shows up on Election Day. And I just don't see that's the ticket. I mean, Cory Booker, I know you've worked with him. I like Cory a lot from my home state of New Jersey. Made a speech for 25 hours. Again, just whacking each other off. This is just not what's going to get the job.
Just days after AOC's name started making waves as Kamala Harris's potential replacement, things began unraveling quickly. Instead of rising to the moment, AOC has been torching her own credibility with every baffling media appearance. From outrageous economic takes to incoherent policy rants, she's stirring up more skepticism than support. If this is the Democrats' big bet for 2028, they might want to rethink the strategy, because the more she speaks, the more voters are wondering, is this really the best they've got?
Because everyone has two jobs. Unemployment is low because people are working 60, 70, 80 hours a week and can barely feed their kids.
Everybody's an idiot except for me.
Capitalism has not always existed in the world, and it will not always exist in the world. When this country
It is the system that, unlike all the others, has lifted more people out of poverty over the course of human history than any other system.
Well, so I think that those things that you talk about, that you discuss, are part of the course of human evolution.
And this is exactly why voices like Bill Maher keep slamming the panic button on AOC. Strip away the fiery speeches, performative outrage, and non-stop social media theatrics, and what's left? She mistakes noise for influence and treats hostility as leadership. There's no real substance, no clear vision, just an endless spectacle built for clicks, not a lasting legacy. Maher isn't speculating, he's seeing the warning signs in bold. If Democrats pin their 2028 hopes on AOC, they're not just taking a risk, they're steering straight into a political catastrophe.
Serious problem for Democrats. Less than 1 in 4 Democrats under 30 say they're proud to be an American. 54% say they're embarrassed by it. Embarrassed? Like America's your mom picking you up at school? You're embarrassed to be an American? Well, guess what? The feeling's mutual. Because you have no perspective. Is America perfect? No, of course not. No country.
Democrats are already hemorrhaging support, and fast, as more of their base grows weary of the party's obsession with woke politics. Biden didn't exactly bow out with grace. His presidency ended in a haze of confusion, fatigue, and unmet promises. Kamala Harris only made things worse with incoherent speeches and muddled messaging that pushed people away. As for AOC, she's doubling down on the same ideological echo chamber that's driving middle America to the exits. And if Democrats are counting on Gavin Newsom or Tim Walz to ride to the rescue, good luck. Their records are littered with scandals, performative politics, and policies so out of touch they repel more voters than they rally. Even lifelong Democrats are drifting towards centrism, independence, or checking out altogether. The real problem isn't just weak leadership, it's an ideology completely detached from economic reality, public safety, and plain old common sense.
You don't really love America if you hate half the people in it. And also if you hate a lot of the things that everybody always loved about it. There's an oft-repeated moment in political debates where the moderator says to the two candidates, say something nice about your...
We'll get to where Bill Maher is going in a moment, but first, let's break down what he's exposing. A deep, almost reflexive disdain from AOC and the progressive wing of the Democratic Party toward America's core values. Maher doesn't mince words. He calls out their theatrical outrage, obsession with identity politics, and the tendency to frame patriotism as prejudice. In their world, anything tied to Trump is instantly toxic, even if it benefits the country. Tax relief for working families? Racist? Border security? Xenophobic? Energy independence? Climate denial? The substance doesn't matter. If Trump backed it, they treat it like political poison. Maher cuts through the noise and calls it what it is: ideological self-sabotage. The left isn't just opposing Trump, they're rejecting reality. And in the process, they're alienating everyday Americans who still believe in common sense and this country's promise.
Talk about fighting for the soul of America. Nobody seems to like it very much. Too many liberals give the impression that to them, America's just a big, ugh. The red, white, and ew. A country that started out bad and will always be bad, founded on an unrelenting history of sucking and unable to change. But we have changed a lot. Democrat Cori Bush tweeted, "This land is stolen land and black people still aren't free." And this was on the 4th of July. Really? Not that I give a shit about the 4th of July. I've never been a rah-rah guy. But I am a perspective guy. And that's what too much of the left has lost.
Sometimes I open Twitter, glance at the feed, and immediately log off, because the flood of anti-American outrage is overwhelming. It's like a digital bonfire fueled by bitterness, led by young liberals who seem to despise the very country that gave them the freedom to complain in the first place. They rip into America, its history, its values, even its flag, casting it as some irredeemable villain, instead of recognizing it as the nation that gave them opportunity, free speech, and a standard of living most of the world can only dream of. I've traveled. I've seen other countries. And believe me, most can't hold a candle to the US when it comes to freedom, opportunity, or prosperity. Yet these keyboard warriors think they're being brave or enlightened by trashing their own country. They're not. It's not bold, it's tone-deaf, entitled, and honestly, downright embarrassing.
72% of black people under 30 are optimistic about their future in America. Way more than white people the same age. And as far as the land goes, yes, I guess we could change the name of Captain America to Captain Stolen Land. But honestly, to all the people who start every public event now with one of those land acknowledgements, where they say, "I'm standing on land that was stolen from the proud indigenous people of the Chumash tribe," I say either give it back or shut up.
Then there's the performative activism and shameless pandering from figures like AOC. Nearly everything she does feels scripted, designed not to lead, but to score applause and secure votes. She's carefully crafted the image of a scrappy, working-class fighter, but the reality tells a different story. Her real name? Sandy Ocasio, not exactly the revolutionary persona she sells. She didn't grow up in the gritty Bronx she constantly references, but in a comfortable suburban neighborhood. And that much hyped bartending story? Let's be honest, millions of students work service jobs. That's not a rags to riches saga, it's just life. But AOC packages it like she clawed her way up from the depths, when in truth, she's been role-playing one of us while living far from the struggles she claims to represent. That's not authenticity, it's marketing. And more people are starting to see through the act.
AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin.
Compare the freedoms women enjoy in America to much of the world, and the difference is staggering. Here, women can vote, own property, choose any career, wear what they want, drive wherever they please, and live freely without being treated like second-class citizens. They can lead companies, run for office, speak openly, and build their lives without needing anyone's permission. That level of autonomy is still a fantasy in many countries, where women are silenced, restricted, or outright oppressed by law and culture, yet somehow, AOC and her allies want us to believe that America is hostile to women, simply because it doesn't surrender to every demand of radical gender ideology. But pushing back against extreme politics isn't hatred. Disagreeing with woke overreach isn't oppression. The irony is stunning. They scream about systemic misogyny in a country that offers women more rights, more protection, and more opportunity than almost anywhere else on earth.
Congressman Jamal Bowman says capitalism is slavery by another name. No, it's not. It's the thing that has given more people more prosperity and hope than any other system, flawed though it sure.
When it comes to the endless attacks on capitalism, the argument collapses under its own weight. Critics love to demonize the very system that built the most prosperous, innovative, and opportunity-rich nation on earth. Sure, socialism and communism may sound noble on paper: equality, shared wealth, no poverty. But in practice, they're economic disasters. History is littered with once promising nations: Venezuela, Cuba, the Soviet Union, that crumbled under bloated governments, stifled innovation, and crushed ambition. These countries had resources and potential, yet became cautionary tales. People risk everything to flee those systems for a shot at the American dream. That alone should speak volumes. Capitalism isn't flawless, but it rewards effort, sparks invention, and fuels real progress. America shouldn't be toying with socialism, it should be running full speed in the other direction. We don't need utopian fantasies. We need systems that work.
Again, something like the free market is kind of synonymous with America. And if you don't like it, I don't know how you can say you love this country. You know who loves this country? You know who's not constantly complaining about what happened 200 years ago and who's not obsessed with seeing America through colored glasses and shaking off the stench of what irredeemable privileged we are? Immigrants.
Immigrants know better than anyone just how much worse life can be outside of America. There's a reason millions risk everything, limb, life, and liberty, just to reach this country. They cross scorching deserts, brave dangerous waters, and endure unimaginable hardships, not for handouts, but for a shot at freedom, dignity, and opportunity. If America were truly the dystopian nightmare that AOC and her ideological allies claim, why are people across the globe still fighting tooth and nail to get in? The answer is obvious. Even with its flaws, America remains a beacon of hope. Immigrants aren't chasing socialism or identity politics, they're chasing the American dream. They've lived under real oppression, so they understand freedom in a way many progressives simply don't. That's why it's laughable when privileged politicians criticize this country from the comfort of taxpayer-funded offices. Immigrants appreciate what so many take for granted. America still delivers, because here's the truth: those who've suffered the most know exactly why this country matters. And more often than not, the loudest critics are the ones who've had it the easiest. So, block out the noise. No, America isn't perfect, but it's still the greatest chance the world has at liberty, opportunity, and truth. That's it for today's video. If you found this message worth hearing, hit like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.